My whole objective in this episode is to convince you to strive for one of the most powerful and inspiring states of being that a human being can achieve in our lives, and that is to become a legend, to achieve ultra legendary status in whatever you do, in whatever you are an expert or whatever is your life purpose. Now, you can be good at it, you can be the best at it, you can be the best of the best, you can be the GOAT, the greatest of all time, but those doesn't mean necessarily that you will become the final stage, the legend. All right. And at the end of the day, here in the Mastermind podcast, we are looking to discuss the most profound things to live a great life. And I believe, folks, I may be wrong, you tell me, but I believe that becoming a legend is a virtuous goal that we can have in our personal development journey, because that will demand everything from you and from me. It will demand that you improve your communication, that you improve your delivery, that you improve your impact, your effort, your teamwork, your collaboration, your message, your narrative. It will demand that you become something more than what you are right now, and that is what it's all about, right? Why we are doing this work, why we are doing personal development, if at the end of the day we don't want to leave behind a reputation that is solid, a reputation based on principles of change, of possibility, of positivity, a reputation based on divine constitutional values, as I explained in that episode. If you want to search on YouTube, divine constitutional values, that is the whole deal of life, I think, is to live a great life, to have fun, to change the world, and to retire or leave this life, get away from this existential prison by being a legend. So if that sounds like kind of yummy to you, so stay until the end because you will know all the details right now, legend. Welcome, my friend, to the most, what? To the most, what? To the most transformative podcast in the world. This is give it to me. Come on. Come on, baby. Give me the energy. Come on. This is the oh, come on, man. Come on. Give me the energy. Send me the energy as in Dragon Ball Z. This is the Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 2 with your host, the beast, the legend, Dr. Derek Israel. And this is the episode 533. And hey, this was a legendary introduction, I expect. So before we begin with all the mechanics, my friend, and all the details about how to become a legend in your own life, let me tell you that this episode is like the conclusion or is the final episode of a mini series that is not an official mini series because it doesn't have like episode 1 or episode 2, but I say it like that because I did 3 episodes before this one that they are so interconnected with this one that I strongly suggest that when you have time and will, because more important than time is will. Time, we have time. Like, we every day we have a second. Every day we have a 24 hours, right? So time we have. What we don't have sometimes is organization and will. So when you have organization and will, or when you create that, be proactive in that, right? I suggest that you go to these following episodes for you to get the full context of what means to be a legend. But I will explain them very briefly. So if you go in my YouTube channel, the first episode will be is one on Spanish, so only for those that are Spanish speakers. It is called La importancia de ser el mejor. In English will be the importance of being the best. Basically, the idea is that, hey, being the best is okay. Being the best should be aspired. Being the best demand the best of you. And being the best is a good virtue, like trying to be, like hustling to be, sacrificing to be the best is a good idea. The second episode, it is called How to Be the Greatest of All Time, aka the GOAT. I know that people hate when I do that sound, but hey, it is the GOAT, huh? So that idea is basically that, okay, it is good to be the best, but it's better to be the best of the best, right? Like the best of all time. And there's different mechanics on how we can judge who is the best of all time. Some of those mechanics are very objective, some of them are more subjective, and it's all very relative. It's all very relative in this realm. But I strongly recommend that you go and listen to that episode, because maybe you are going to shoot for the best of all time. And if you are going to shoot for being a legend, definitely being the best of all time is something that will help you to become a legend. It will not determine that, though. It's not necessary. You can become a legend without being the best of all time. And sometimes the best of all time, it is like reduced to sports or to like a certain industries in entrepreneurship or like in different type of arts. So it's not like you say you are the best mother of all time, but hey, you can like kind of be a legendary mother, right? So to be the best of all time will not determine what is to be a legend, but it's very important to know it. And the next or third element in this configuration or formula is the one that we discussed yesterday, and one of my personal favorite episodes of all time. My friend, just search on YouTube or just search on my Spotify, Apple Podcast stations. Search for how to operate in God mode. Oh my gotchi. That episode will change your life, my friend. How to operate in God mode will teach you everything that you need to do in a consistent basis to, one, be the best, two, become the best of the best or the greatest of all time, and three, and finally, to become a legend. Because if you want to do all of those three, you need to constantly be operating in God mode. And what is to operate in God mode? Well, that is when you are not so human anymore. If you are interested in more details, like in the specific steps on how you can operate in God mode, well, go to that Go to that episode on my YouTube channel and you will learn everything. So now let's philosophize about what is to be a legend. Be relaxed. Being a legend is the most sublime aspect of reputation, of impact. So this is very difficult to us for us to establish exactly what is a legend. So if you want me to give you like very objective things today, I think that you will be a little bit disappointed. Today will be more like a philosophy, because it's so abstract to be a legend. And also, what I feel is that to become a legend, you need to find out for your own what will be demanded from you. All right. So that means that be relaxed. Just enjoy the episode today. Like, just let these words, let these ideas play with your heart. Don't get too fixed today in, oh, I need to learn every detail. Give me the data. Hey, don't be a rat. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like rat as an spiritual animal, they are like that. And I have a sub series in this Mastermind podcast about spiritual animals. I also have a reproduction list in my YouTube channel. You can search it. It is called Spiritual Animals, and I think that I think maybe 3 episodes. And I will be discussing more animals in the future, like 1 episode per animal. And I also have an episode on Spanish about descubrir tu animal espiritual. So discovering your spiritual animal. If you want more information about it, and the rat. This is a side note. This is not about becoming a legend, though. This is a side note. But the rat, as a spiritual animal, is very intellectual. It's like the rat wants to know every detail of things. So that's why I say don't be a rat, because if you are like a rat, if you are like a rat today, you will be a little bit disappointed. So be more like a poet today. Be more like an artist today with me in this episode. Be more abstract in this episode. So, what is to be a legend? What do you think, my friend, when you hear that word? When you say, "Oh, have you heard about this guy?" And you said, "Oh, sure, man, that guy is a legend." Interesting concept. What is the variables that determine what is a legend? Or who becomes a legend? Have you ever asked you that? So you may say, "Oh, Derek, the legend is the best who do it." Are you sure? You need to be the best to be a legend? Oh, Derek, the legends are people that are in the long term, like 40, 50 years in the game. They become legends. Are you sure? It is not possible to be only one day in a place and to become a legend, only 1 hour, only 1 minute, or only one instant. It's just a philosophical question. I don't know the answer. Maybe you can answer. Um, Maybe you say, "Oh, Derek, then to be a legend is to be well known. You need to be popular. You need to be worldwide, and that's why you become a legend because you are very popular. You are famous." Or are you sure? So you consider every person that is popular a legend? Interesting question. Do you consider Biden a legend? Just for an example, this is not a political statement, all right? Just an example. Biden is the current United States president right now in 2022, so I just made it up like that. So do you consider him a legend? I don't know. What do you think? Do you consider maybe Osama bin Laden a legend? Hmm. It kinds of feel different, right? The flavor between Biden and bin Laden kind of feel different. So yeah, just philosophical question, guys. But for me, to be a legend, my friend, is the ultimate stage of reputation, is the ultimate stage of impact. It is the most sublime and abstract stage. And this is the place where only people that really made a real impact can achieve. Like people can be the best, but that not necessarily will be a legend. People may have all the skills in the world, but that necessarily will not make it a legend. To be a legend is to be more holistic than only to have skills and to have success. Success and skills, yeah, they may be important. But when we are talking about being a legend, we are talking about being a story, a myth. And that is the idea that I want you to understand. To become a legend is to become a myth. And we are living in a mythological reality. I discussed that in an episode in Spanish. It's on Spanish, and it is called ¿Cuál es tu mito? Por favor, busca eso en mi canal de YouTube. ¿Cuál es tu mito? Right? In English will be which is your myth. But in that episode, I explained to you that we are living in a collective narrative that is mythological. And we psychologists, we know that forever, right? So when you become a legend, you become like, for example, who is a myth? Like the boogeyman. Yeah, the boogeyman is kind of a myth. You know, the kids, every kids know like that kind of story. Well, that is a legend. And we know that probably that is like a fake legend, but it's a metaphor for what I'm trying to express to you, that you can become a boogeyman in your own sphere and with real facts and with real effects in the human world. So legends are things that are so epic that they are not in the discussion, in a mechanical discussion anymore. All right. So when we are talking about who is the best, we are kind of talking about mechanics. All right. Who shoot the ball better? Who pass better? Who have more assistance? Who have more steals? Who have more rebounds? Blah 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 blah. Who is the best? That is the best, right? But when we are talking about the legend, we are talking more than objective data. We are talking about a spirit. We are talking about a representation of the thing. Remember that episode that I called you live, oh no, we all live in a symbolic reality. Please search it. That is very important. We all live in a symbolic reality. Well, to be a legend is to be a symbolic reality. You are a stuff made of dreams. Yeah, you are a stuff made of dreams. You are not human anymore. So you already transcend God mode when you're a legend. All right? Because notice, when you are in God mode, you are still an ego thinking, oh, I'm operating in God mode now. Yeah, that is not a legend. A legend is when you transcended the God mode also. You don't need to operate in God mode. You are not even operating. A legend, most of the time, it is not operating, it is resting. Do you see a legend like The Undertaker right now, the wrestler, still fighting? No, he's resting. And in the last speech of The Undertaker, he's a classical, a legendary wrestler. In his final speech, like a couple of weeks ago in WrestleMania, he said, and finally, The Undertaker can rest in peace. And obviously, that is a slogan of his character, but at the same time, that phrase has a lot of spiritual meaning, because what he's saying is, hey, I am a legend now. I was maybe the best of all time before. And I was kind of a legend before retirement, right? Because Undertaker has been a legend for a while. But he cemented his legendary status with those words, because he's now saying, I am not doing this anymore, but I'm still here. And you may ask how he will be still here if he's already gone. That's the legend status, dude. You are omnipresent, although you are not physically there. you know. To be a legend is to be present although you are dead. To be legend is to be present although your whole generation is gone. Do you think that Jesus Christ is a legend? Sure, you bet. You may say, "Oh no, he's so fake, man, and his church, oh my god, that's so nasty." All right, that's your opinion. That's good, man. I don't care. But the guy, the human, the guy that impact the history of humankind, the guy. I don't care about the religious or spiritual figure. The guy, he is a legend. He survived, out survived most of his peers. Like, we don't know the names of the people who saw Christ in the cross, but we know we know Christ's name, right? Because he's a legend. Other people, they were average. So this is for me to become a legend. How this is different from a goat? Well, I explained a little bit, but let me repeat or emphasize. The goat is still in the objective data. That is one of the important difference between them. When we are talking about the legend, we don't care about the objective data anymore. It's more about the vibration of the guy. All right. So when you say, for example, LeBron James, you are still thinking about data with him. He's a kind of a legend. I think that he haven't reached that ultra state yet. He's like right now in the greatest of all time mode and operating in God mode, like with almost 40 years right now. He's uh how do you say that? Averaging like I think 31 points per game, something crazy like that, like stupidly crazy. But that's still objective data. He's the best of all time. Like he's in that conversation, right? But Jordan, in the other hand, we are not so much talking about, yeah, we all know that he have 6 trophies. We all know that he have this and that. But we are not so focused on the numbers anymore, only when we are trying to compare him with LeBron. But we are if we are just talking about Jordan, we forget a little bit about the numbers and we just concentrate on the movement of Jordan. We concentrate on the sublime vibe of Michael Jordan because he's a legend. He's the GOAT. Yes, he's the greatest of all time, but he also transcends to that sphere in which vibration is more important than data. Vibe. What do you feel when you hear that legendary name? Baby Ruth. Ooh, legendary. You see, maybe with video games, you can feel this. Mario. You feel that vibe, right? You are not thinking how many games of Mario they have. Oh, Mario won this prize, or blah blah blah. Mario is the best of all time because Mario sold out this video game. They sold out 30 million. I don't care about it. We all know it. Mario. Oh, now we are talking, right? We don't need to know. We don't need to add anything to the name. When we're talking about a goat, we need to add stuff to the goat. We need to say Messi is the greatest of all time because this, and that, right? We need to say, oh no, Floyd Mayweather Jr. He's the best because he's undefeated, blah 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 blah. When we are talking about a legend, and I'm not saying that Mayweather Jr. is not a legend, he's on his way. But remember, to become a legend, sometimes you need to be dead. That is one thing. That is for sure. All right. So people tend to value more stuff when the stuff is already gone, and we know that, right? The ego is very, very tricky. But But Muhammad Ali, oh, I don't care about his record, man. I know that he has some losses. I don't know how many losses. I just care about the photo he knocking out the guy. I just care about the affirmations and the personality and the movement and the Muslim he was. And he was very proud of being a Muslim, and his strength and his character and his Parkinson at the end of the day. When we talk about Ali, we talk about the legend. We're not talking about the GOAT. Do you see this kind of subliminal difference? I know it's abstract. I know that if this was university, maybe kind of a class, it will be difficult for you to explain in an exam if I ask you. And it will be very difficult for me to put it a zero because it's so subjective. But I tried to maintain it like this because I think that it will have more value like this. So open your mind, open your heart, and open your notebook. All right. So, how to achieve this legendary status? This is very difficult to do. Definitely, obviously, being the best that you can be is difficult. Being the best of the best is even more difficult. And to operate in God mode consistently is very difficult. But to achieve a legendary status, this is the ultimate difficulty. Like most of you, most people that will hear this podcast, even me, we are probably will not achieve this state. I just want you to know that very, very deep in your heart. This is a hard truth to follow. We all want to be a legend in some way, but we are not all going to achieve it because this is reserved. This is reserved for people that really deserve it. All right. We cannot consider everyone a legend because then legends really lose their values. And the hierarchy of value and the hierarchy of quality, it will get lost. So this is not a good thing. But maybe you, specifically you, maybe you will become a legend. I know that maybe 90% of people that will hear this podcast will not, but maybe you are the 10 or 5 or 1%. So try to prove me wrong here and concentrate in your life purpose so much in a way that you can really become a legend in the final goal. But also it's mysterious. It's not only abstract as a concept, what to be a legend, but also it's mysterious as a process. Like there's no a definitive path that will make you a legend. There's not a definite path. I don't know if you saw that movie I Am Legend with Will Smith. Like he considered himself to be a legend because he was the only man alive in that movie with a dog, and he was like a badass and an alpha male without any other male. So he said, I'm a legend, right? That is the title of the movie. What do you think? That guy, he's a legend? Yes or no? I don't know. It's difficult to say because if you're the only guy alive, you may be a legend, but it's a movie. But it was a really good movie. We all cry when he killed the dog. That makes him a legend? It may be, you know. If the slap that he gave to Chris Rock makes him a legend, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Life works in mysterious ways, man. Life works in mysterious ways. So what I want you to understand is that this is a very open system. To becoming a legend is not linear. To become a legend, it is not logical. This is a very non-linear kind of quantic approach. Like you can touch a button and you can destroy everything, and you say, "What the hell? I don't understand this cause and effects." This is how to be a legend. It's a very, very chaotic kind of way. So let me explain a little bit of Some important characteristics of being a legend and how you may develop them. I will not be focusing like very strictly in how to develop them. They are kind of obvious what you need to do, but I will make some comments around them. But what I believe it is important of this list is that with these characteristics, you will know at least what you are aiming to. And by trying to develop these characteristics in your life, you will maximize the probability of becoming a legend. All right. So let's go. First characteristic is that legends change the game forever. All right. Legends change the game forever. Michael Jordan, he changed the game. Michael Jackson, legend, changed the game. Baby Ruth, legend, changed the game. Muhammad Ali, legend, changed the game. Vince McMahon, legend, changed the wrestling game forever. Mario, as a video game, legend, changed the video game industry forever. Or Pac-Man also did. So notice, legends not only are the best, mostly they are, but after they are gone, the industry in which they were part, it is never the same. They do something different. They change a code. They change a pattern in a very infrastructural way. And I will be discuss a little bit more about that in the next point. The second point is that legends are one with the game. So when you mention the game, you mention the name of the legend, and when you mention the legend's name, you mention the game. If you mention Michael Jordan, you are mentioning basketball. That's it. You are not mentioning baseball. Why not? Well, because he played baseball, but he's not a legend there. Now, if you mention, I don't know, Derek Jeter, oh, he's the best because his name, man, his name is the best. If you mention Derek Jeter, he's kind of a legend. He's becoming a legend now, and in the baseball community. And when you mention his name, you are mentioning Yankees. You are mentioning New York. You are mentioning baseball. Derek is one with the game. When you mention personal development, you're mentioning Derek Israel. I'm just kidding. Maybe one day, maybe one day. This is the journey of becoming a legend. I am on the journey. Maybe I achieve it, maybe I don't. I don't care. It's all about to become who I become in the journey. As I discussed in the episode about being the greatest of all time. Who cares if I achieve it? Who cares if you achieve it? It's all about the fun. It's all about the strategies that we implement in our way there and what we learn in this way, in this beautiful journey. So be one with you with the game. So I don't care where you are working, in what industry you may be podcaster like I am. Well, I want to be one with podcasts. Or maybe you are in the game of architecture. Well, when they mention your brand, when they mention your name, they should be mentioning architecture. They should be mentioning makeup if you are in the makeup kind of uh, beauty industry. They should be mentioning marketing if you're a marketer. Like one of the greatest marketers in our time, he's called Billy Jean, is marketing. That is basically his name. And I think that this guy understands this about being a legend because he put it the name of his brand, Billy Jean, and then he put it is marketing in the site. Like he already mixed the name of the industry with his own name. He's making that like a statement. And in the mind of the consumers, when he's gone, they may consider him to be a legend in the market in the marketing industry. I don't know. I am just speculating. He's very young. I don't know if that is gonna be a thing. You know who is a legend in the marketing realm? The Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, and he's still alive. If you saw that movie, he's a legend in the marketing world. Like he's a promoter as hell. Like, and if when you think about stock market, you think about the wolf. So he changed the game. Now you may say, "Oh, Derek, but he was a criminal. Like he was lying to people. He was stealing to people." Yeah. You know who also was a criminal? Um, um, Robin Hood. Robin Hood, right? He he stole. Um, Also, how many people has committed crimes and you consider them a legend? This other guy, I forget his name. The guy that he used to transport the alcohol back in the days when alcohol was illegal. Oh man, let me search on Google real quick. Greatest greatest alcohol. Oh man, greatest alcohol criminal. uh, I am not finding the name of the guy. But anyways, that guy he's a criminal and he's a legend. Like you can be both. Pablo Escobar. He's a criminal and he's a legend. You mentioned Pablo Escobar. What industry you're mentioning? Drugs. Well, you may say there that is horrible. Well, it is, but it is what it is. Life is horrible. And life accepts itself. Hitler is a legend. Definitely. If you mention Germany, you mention Hitler. If you mention World War II, you mention Hitler. If you mention uh, politician, you are mentioning Hitler. If you mention oratory, you are mentioning Hitler. Like that guy disrupted so many different kind of areas. He had some good traits. Like just study the guy, man. I will download his mind very soon in my show, Downloading the Mind. Like, well, sadly, we just attribute to him the horrific acts that he did, but no human beings is only black or only white. Like he's holistic. So legends are holistic. The next characteristic is that legends change language. I have an episode. It's a very, very important episode. It is called Better Systems Creates Better Languages. One of the greatest episodes and more profound episodes that you will ever hear. Search it on my YouTube and my Spotify or Apple podcast stations. And the idea here is that after a legend, you change the language. For example, Michael Jordan. After Jordan, we talk about fly, the dunk, right? We talk about being clutch. I don't know if I am pretty sure that that word it is not based on Jordan, but Jordan made popular being clutch. And now being clutch is like a thing that we used to compare who is the best of all time. Like people, I have been debating who is the best of all time in NBA since I was a kid. Because I always have been a very good fanatic of LeBron James. So I have been always fighting with people about who is the best of all time. And one of the things that always people tell me about LeBron James, like when they are trying to debate the idea, is that, oh no, LeBron James is good, but he's not clutch. Who put that word in the conversation? Not Michael Jordan. You don't see Michael Jordan talking about I am a clutch player, but no. Is the reputation of Jordan, the legendary status, the abstract atmosphere of the representation of Jordan that puts the clutch conversation on the table. And now everyone that is trying to achieve legendary status, they need to pass that filter that was a change in language due to his performance, due to Jordan's assistance. Jordan changed the language. Legends change language. For example, Sigmund Freud, he's a legend in psychology. He changed language. Now we refer very commonly in psychology to libido as a sexual energy. We refer to the unconscious. You may hear me, oh, that is so unconscious. Hey, it was Sigmund Freud who made that popular. He changed the language. He didn't invent the term, but he made it popular. We talk about the Oedipal phase. We talk about, uh, I don't know, what more? We talk about hysteria. He was a very good pioneer. You know, Carl Jung, he's the greatest of all time. Also, he's a goat. For me, he's the GOAT. He's a legend in psychology and in other industries as well, as numerology, as astrology, as alchemy, um, psychiatry, obviously, and stuff like that. And he changed the game. When we are referring to archetypes, he put that word in our language. So we say, oh, yes, the archetype of the warrior. Oh, yeah, the archetype of the king. That is Carl Jung's fault. He's a legend. He changed language. So make sure that whatever you are doing, if you are becoming a legend, you need to create different experiences that demands different words. If you cannot do that, you are probably maybe the best or the best of all time, but not a legend. Legend change language. It's a very profound thing that you need to ponder upon. The next characteristic or trait is that legend become infrastructural to the narrative of the game. They become infrastructure in the narrative of the game. So every game is a narrative. Everything is a myth, a myth, a story. Life is a story. One of my favorite quotes of all time is that life, it is not made of atoms, it is made of stories. It's so profound. Because what it's saying is that life, it is not made of matter, it is made of meaning. And that is so fucking profound. What it's saying is that life is not what happens to you, but what signifies to you, you know? And it's not about legends as legends. It's about what legends means to us. It's about what a legend means to our heart, to our story, to our collective story as humans, as a vulnerable species that is struggling for survival here on Earth, that is struggling for survival here in the universe. When you are a legend, you become part of the story of the game. So if the let me look for another legend. So if a guy will talk about the myth of golf and the story of golf, he will start saying, so one day golf became a thing and the next day Tiger Woods appeared. So if that was like an old story that people who didn't have the writing word will be, you know, transpassing from generation to generation, well, Tiger Woods made it because he's now in the story. It's not only about golf, it's about golf and Tiger Woods. He's part of the story, the whole infrastructure of the meaning of the thing. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? I know it's complex, but I believe that you can get it. So when we are talking about pop, the music genre, who is inserted in the pop mindset or in the pop idea or in the pop conceptualization? who is inserted in there in a way that is inseparable? Michael Jackson. It's like you talk about pop, you talk about Mike, because he's part of the infrastructure of the myth right now, forever. If you talk about comedy in the Hollywood's movies, who do you think is kind of inserted in that conversation? It's just like it is comedy. You say comedy, you say Jim Carrey. That's it. Jim Carrey comedy. It's like one word, it's one phenomena, it's mixed. And I know that Jim Carrey as an ego, he's like, oh no, please no. I am more than that. I transcended. Now I'm a guru. But it doesn't matter because he already did what he did. And he's already a legend. you know, Jim Carrey's already a legend, man. That guy is amazing. How he acts. Oh my God. I was seeing this movie about him in a hotel a couple of months ago. And I say, how the hell you act like that? It was the Liar movie. If you haven't seen that one, it's a classic and it's a masterpiece. It's a magnum opus. If you don't know what is a magnum opus, please search on YouTube magnum opus masterpieces on my YouTube channel, because a magnum opus is a masterpiece. When you create an art that really is astonishing, that is a masterpiece. So the next trait of becoming a legend, and we are already almost done, is that legends are beyond good and evil. All right. And this is a very important one because we still perceive Floyd Mayweather as, oh man, he's evil. He's bad. He's bad. Like he's an arrogant dude. Because maybe Floyd Mayweather is still in the GOAT. He's not still in a legend. He's still fighting. He's still in the game. So he haven't transcend so far so much. But when you are a legend, you transcend that. In GOAT, the GOAT episode, I told you, the GOAT divides the public in 50-50. 50% of people love them, 50% of people hate them. Kim Kardashian, that is a good example. LeBron James, John Cena, Mayweather. They divide the public. Legends, they don't divide the public anymore. They are just legends. They are not even good or bad. They are just legends. When Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, I think in the fourth or fifth movie, I am not a huge fan of it, but I know that when he's fighting with Darth Vader, like Obi-Wan Kenobi in one point of the movie, he's like, all right, man, I surrender. Like, it's not a surrender of like you are better than me. It's more like I transcended. It's like an illumination. It's like I am ready to become from the GOAT to a legend. In that moment, when Darth Vader like kind of killed Obi-Wan and he disappeared in that scene, that is the moment in which Obi-Wan Kenobi became from being a GOAT, the greatest of all time, but obviously the greatest of all time, we know that is Anakin in that movie. But he was kind of a GOAT. He was in the conversation. But when he surrendered spiritually, when he transcended, he became a legend. And now he's a spirit. He's not physically there, but you can access him. Like Luke could access him like a pattern of being, like a spirit, like a anima that was in the world, like a soul thing. It's a soul stuff. It is not matter anymore. It's a legend. It's about a myth. He's a myth. He's a force in the psyche, as I will discuss in the next point. He's a legend. Another one, Kobe Bryant. So this is the thing with Kobe Bryant. When he was alive, he was a GOAT. He was the greatest of all time. He was in the conversation. And most, 50% of people hate Kobe Bryant, including me. Why? Because if you like Kobe Bryant, that mean that probably you didn't like LeBron, because they were fighting. Like, at least they were friends, but people were fighting. Normal people like you and me, we were fighting. Oh, LeBron is the best. No, Kobe, blah blah blah. So 50% of people hate him because he was a goat, not a legend. When he died, he became a legend because the way he died, it was so tragic that adds to his legendary status. It is not that because he died, he's a legend. No, he's a legend because he was Kobe and he did great things in the game and he's one with the game. He changed the game forever. He's one of the greatest of all times. But after he died, no one hates him anymore. No one. No one hates him. Not even me. Now I love Kobe. I used to hate Kobe. And now I love him. Why? Because he's beyond good and evil right now. He's in a spiritual state. He's a legendary state. Like, I cannot say, oh, he's that, oh, he shot and he missed a lot, oh, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. He's a legend. He's Kobe fucking Black Mamba Bryant. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And one of my most popular, if not, I think it's my most popular episode in the Mastermind podcast is on Spanish, and it is called the Mamba Mindset. Just search that on YouTube. It's basically, I am downloading the mind of Kobe. I am teaching you how to think like a Mamba mindset. So search Derek Israel Mamba, and you will find the Spanish episode. So yeah, he's beyond good and evil. So when you are a legend, you transcend opposites. Remember that in God mode, in that episode, I told you that to operate in God mode, you need to collapse opposites through your own framework and vibration and field, like magnetic field. Well, also legends collapse opposites because no one hate them anymore so much. Like, they transcend good and evil. Like, well, with Hitler, this is difficult because that guy made so many horrific things that he's a legend. And I'm pretty sure that if you go to Germany, a lot of people love him and consider him a god. If you go to Germany, definitely, and even in other places, neo Nazis is a thing. It's a it's a movement. Like, they consider Hitler as still a legend, but yeah, Hitler is difficult. I don't know how he haven't. I don't know. He haven't transcend good and evil. I think he's still evil. I think he's still evil. I don't know. This is one of those parts that my ideas get contradicted, and that is part of the process. It's like, just remember, every idea that I transmit to you is an experiment, man. It's an experiment. So I am not 100% perfect, 100%. So yeah, there's some things that I haven't figured out, and I think that this point about transcending good and evil is a thing that I should think more a little bit more. Anyways, let's go to the next characteristic. Legends inspire countless of life forever. Legends inspires countless lives forever. And this, I think, is a very important trait. Like, you need to have a good magnum corpus or corpus of masterpieces. And I have an episode about what is a magnum corpus. Basically, it's masterpiece after masterpiece after masterpiece. So in a career, you need to develop extraordinary things, right? And when you do that, you inspire people through time and through history, and that makes you a legend. Like, to be a legend is all about inspiration. Can you inspire further movements after you are dead? Yes or no? Like, for example, Friedrich Nietzsche is a philosophical legend, and he died being very unknown. He died being not so popular, but he has inspired so many other philosophers after his death, including myself, um, that he's a legend beyond belief, just because he inspired us to think more, to think bigger, to think in a more profound way. And we have been discussing Nietzsche after his death and we will for the rest of our lives, for the rest of our human history. He's like, uh, he's like a legend in that regard. Also, another philosopher, he's like a goat, like the greatest of all time. Also, he's a legend. Is Marcus Aurelius. He's one of the pioneer of the movement Stoic. How do you say it in English? Stoicism. Stoic, being a stoic, stoicism. Yeah. And Marcus Aurelius. A funny thing about him is that he has this wonderful book that is called um, Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. I recommend it. And he, in that book, he said like most like people will never remind you, like people will never, how I say, can I say, people will never think about you after you are dead, like you will be forgotten in history. He said that, and it's a very profound thought, because our ego doesn't like that thought. But if you kind of understand that I don't care what you do, you will be forgotten, that release the pressure and you can be more free, and you will say, okay, so I will be forgotten, so I can just do my thing and it will not matter in the grand scale of all. That is a very powerful thought. But the real cool thing that happened is that he made that thought and he still is not forgotten. Like, we are talking about him thousands of years, maybe, that he has been dead, and we are still talking about him. I am doing a podcast in 2022 talking about a guy that said that we are all gonna be forgotten, and he hasn't been forgotten. Why? Because that work is so inspirational. That book, Meditations, is the only book that he has. Please read that book. It's only one book. And he was an emperor of Rome. So that guy inspired so many people after his death and after his work, that he basically lives forever right now. He's an inspiration. He's not a guy anymore, folks. He's not a human anymore. He's a movement. He's a force. He's an inspiration. He's a legend. And that is what I want you to become, or at least try for it. Don't become very frustrated. I know it's difficult. I know that we see this stuff and you may say, Derek, but I'm just a normal dude, man. I, I am just doing normal stuff. I work in a gas station, Derek. I like to play video games sometimes. And yes, I kind of know my life purpose. I know that I want to, maybe uh, I want to I want to create blockchain based applications, and I know that that is my life purpose, to contribute substantially to blockchain. But that's it. Like, I am not that good to be a legend, to be a Kobe, or to be a Nietzsche, or to be a Muhammad Ali, or to be like a, I don't know, let me see, a politician that is like a legend. To be like a Abraham Lincoln. I don't have that kind of stamina. I don't have that kind of vibe, man. I don't have that kind of power. What do you think? Why are you saying, man? What are you saying? Dude, relax. Relax. You have time. If you become a masterful strategist, as I told you in our previous episode, when I download the mind of Vladimir Putin, if you haven't watched that one, hey, searching my YouTube channel, be a master strategist like Vladimir Putin, the Russia first man. If you're a strategist like that, you can do anything. You have time and you're alive. The only thing that you need to become a legend is time and to be alive. That's it. If you are breathing, you are still on time. So you need to work on your game, definitely. You need to stretch your personality, definitely. You need to overcome your fears, definitely. But that is just the game. That is personal development, no? If if you don't want to improve that, if you don't want to self-engineer, why you will come to this podcast? If you know this is about personal development, this is about self-help, this is about motivation for you to change the your life and to change the game. The next point is that legends becomes forces in the collective consciousness or unconsciousness that people can tap into a spiritual power. So basically, you become like an archetype. Remember that Obi-Wan type of status? He's like a psychological force. Another one that is a psychological force is, Yoda. Yoda in Star Wars. It's like an archetype. It's like a spirit. Like you think in Yoda, you think in the force, you think in the goodness. And if you can tap into, if you can tap into that power, if you can tap into the power of Yoda in your mind, it's like you have that power. But if you are just a human being, how other human being can tap into your power? Well, you need to transcend from being a human being to be a psychological entity, to be an image, to be a narrative in the mythological realm of existence, in the narrative, in the infrastructure of existence, in the fabric of reality. You need to insert your code. You need to insert your spirit, your sperm. You need to insert your sperm in the fabric of reality, and then you will be able, or people will be able, to tap into your pattern of being, into your spirit with only their mind. Like right now, if I think in Jesus Christ, I can tap into his subtle force. Just do it right now. Think about Jesus Christ. You will feel a little bit of love in your, this is my experience. I feel like a little bit of love in my chest because I am tapping to that pattern. If I think about um, Martin Luther King, he's another legend. I kind of feel an spirit of drive, and a spirit of, fighting for my dreams and fighting for others, like that kind of altruistic principle and drive. I feel it if I think about him, because his representation in the collective unconscious, in the mind of the world, the world have a mind, right? Collective mind, interconnected in a psychoid sphere that is very complex. I will not explain that, but anyways, in a sphere that is more than human. Well, we, that mind, that collective mind, and I have a Spanish episode that is called El Consciente Colectivo. El Consciente Colectivo, búscalo en mi canal de YouTube, where I explain this term about conscious, collective consciousness or collective unconsciousness. It depends if you're unconscious or conscious about the element. But anyways, what I was talking about, what was the point? Anyways, you need to stop being human and to become part of consciousness. Leonardo da Vinci, you think about him, what do you think? Oh my God, you think about invention. You want to invent things. You want to create a new helicopter because he's a force. Steve Jobs, he's a force now in the collective unconscious. That is what it is to be a legend. That's why they never die. Legends never die, because they are always going to be in the psychological realm, making their effects also. All right. And the final, I'm a little bit tired today. So thanks God that we reached this final. I'm giving all in the gym. I'm going right now twice per day in the gym. This is my first time in my life that I have been going twice to the gym. It is not the first time that I'm becoming fit. I was very fit a couple of years ago when I was in my second year of university and I was in the ROTC. I was very, very fit. But now I am older. Back in the day, I had 19. Now I'm 27, so my body's like different, and I'm going twice to the gym and doing a lot of other sports, and I feel a little bit tired today, physically. Like spiritually, I feel ready, and motivation is all good, but physically, I'm like, oh man, today's like heavy. But anyways, let's go to the final tip, or the final trait, is that legends. Oh no, no, no! It is not a final tip. Sorry, guys, we already finished that. This is just an integration, and it's a question. So, are you ready to become a legend? Are you ready to become a legend? This is a personal decision. I cannot make you to strive this. This is not for everyone. This is for people that are thinking great. This is for people that are thinking big, extraordinary, astonishing, mesmerizing. It is not for people that are thinking small. So I have a challenge for you. This is the Mastermind Podcast Challenge, Season 2. We are doing every Monday through Friday an episode. Join if you haven't joined. Join us. It's an amazing challenge to do. So the challenge is, hey, at least consider becoming a legend. I know it's a lot. I know that you need to know how to operate in God mode, and that is a challenge itself. I know that you need to know how to strive for being the best that you can be. I know that is a challenge itself. I know that is a challenge itself to become the best of the best, the greatest of all time. But I think that there's a lot of virtue just to try to do it, just to go for it and to see what happens. You will do it with a smile in your face because it's an epic adventure. And a life with adventure is a life with life. It's a life with germ, it's a life with love, with consciousness, with progress, with beauty, with capital B. So, are you ready to pursue the legendary status that not only you deserve, but the whole humanity will deserve, and that the whole humanity will be able to tap into if you transcend your humanity, your context, your culture, your time, your space, and you become a legend, something abstract, something that is ethereal, something psychical, and something that changed the history of humankind forever, my friend. Become a legend. Yeah, this was Dr. Derek Israel. Please share this episode with other future potential legends in your social media. Share it with your friends. Help me to do it. Also, leave a comment below if you are ready to become a legend. And also, in that comment, tell me, what other strategies do you think that are necessary to become a legend? I know that this is not a definitive absolutist list, so there's a lot of things that I'm missing. Maybe you can help me to fill that gap in the comment section. Please do it. I will respond to you, and the whole community will benefit. Remember as well that I'm about to launch my first book. It's so amazing. I believe it's going to be the best book in the world. And I am not kidding. I am not fucking kidding. I'm going for the legend status, and I'm pushing hard every day, starting 3 a.m., going to bed 12 at the midnight. All right? A small nap in the middle, because I am going hard, and that book will revolutionize the structure of your life. And it's coming very, very soon. It is called Terapia con Derek, Therapy with Derek. And that book is going to be a before and after in your life. So stay tuned and grab your copy. Also remember that we are on Patreon. And Patreon is a platform in which you can donate to support our free content. So if you are enjoying what we are sharing here for free and transforming thousands of lives around the world that maybe they cannot access this information in any other way, if you value what we are doing, hey, just support us on Patreon with only $5 $5 per month. $5, dude. $5, dude. You can support us and we can have more fun and we can become more sustainable. So go to the link below and there you can find the link to Patreon and you can donate. And finally, hey, visit me in derekisrael.com. derekisrael.com is the store where I have everything that you need for your further expansion. I have my coaching service if you want one-on-one coaching with this potential legend. I have my consulting service there. Also, I have my courses, I have my books, I have everything in derekisrael.com. Go there, see what I have to offer, and help. And hey, remember, if you work with me, you are maximizing your probability of becoming a legend.